Hi guys, Ryu here. In this part we're gonna talk about sniper rifle. So we're gonna concept it, block it, and detail it, and then render it. Before we start doing anything, we need to make sure that we have the right proportions, because with things like chairs, weapons, cars, anything that humans can use, we need to have a reference, right? So what I need you to do is go to the folder where you have all the files for the sniper rifle part of the course, and find the reference image of a sniper rifle, which is a real-life sniper rifle, and we're gonna drag it into our scene. But before we do that, we need to prepare our scene accordingly. So first of all, what we're gonna do is when you press tilde key on your keyboard, right, you will see a pie menu. Now this pie menu is allowing us to simply shift our view. You can see from front to back to top to bottom, left, right, and then you have two more, but don't worry about it. So how you use it, pie menus are different types of menus. You don't click on it, you simply hover your mouse and release the button. So how I use it is like this. I press the tilde key, then I move my mouse to where I want it to be, and when I release the tilde key, it will shift. So watch. Tilde key, top, release. Tilde key, back, release. Press, hover, release. Press, hover, release. And you can do it really quick, like this. Boom, boom, boom. Or even faster, like that, once you get used to it, okay? So you need to really remember in which position which one is. It's actually quite logical, because left is to the left, right, top, bottom, and so forth, right? So what I need you to do is go to the front view, right? So like this, here, and press numpad 5 for orthographic. So now we aligned to front view in orthographic mode, so everything is flat. Now once you did that, drag and drop this file, so this image, into the Blender. So literally drag it from outside, from a folder, into the Blender window. And this, you can see it's not aligned properly, because the origin point of this plane, because it's a plane, right? Let's go back to front view. It's in here, and our cursor is in here. That's our middle of our entire world. So we need to move this plane into this position. So we need to make this whole plane, the middle of the plane, shift to the middle of our scene. So what we're gonna do for this is gonna be a machine tools pie menu. So Shift S, and you will see that you can manipulate with different things. For example, you can move cursor to origin, you can move origin to cursor, origin to geometry. Now origin is basically this point here, that's an origin in the middle, and that's the cursor, okay? So what we want to do is align both. So once I move the origin, the whole image will move with it. So again, Shift S, and we're gonna move it to the cursor, boom, and the image move to the center. And now it's perfectly aligned with the middle of the scene. The next thing that we need to do is add a cube to the scene. So we're simply gonna go Shift A and add a cube. What I want to do is I want to use that cube to check the proportions of the gun. So I'm going to move it first. So G, move it in here, right? And I want to align it with the edge of this picture. So you can hold Shift to make it a bit more precise, okay? More or less, you don't have to be super accurate. I want to scale this cube, right? But I want to scale it differently. If I just press S and scale it, you can see that it scales on the origin point, which is in the middle of this cube, right? So let's go back to front view, tilde, front. And what I want to do is I want to scale it on this side of this, on this face. So when I scale it, it scales towards the left side, and this side doesn't move. Now to be able to do that, I need to move my origin point to the face. And to be able to do that one, I need to move my cursor there first. So let's go to edit mode. So tab face. Now this pie menu from machine tools enhances the menu from Blender, which is also under tab. So you press tab and then you press 1, 2, 3 to enter one of the vert, edge or face mode. Now this is much faster because just like the previous one that I showed you before, all you do is simply press, hover your mouse and go to a selected mode. So tab, object, tab, edge, tab, face. So again, press tab, hover your mouse, release, press tab, hover your mouse, release. And eventually you will remember which one is where. And you can do it very quickly. So you simply press, move and release, press, move and release. And you can do it really quick, okay? So that's how it's done. So let's press tab, go to face mode and release. Now click on the face, Shift S, that's another menu. And that's very useful. It allows you to move origin point and cursor. And we want to move the cursor, you see the cursor marker here, to selected, okay? So cursor to selected. It's going to move the cursor from the origin point to the face. Now go back to solid mode. So tab, object, solid mode, and Shift S, and now move origin to cursor. So you have to make sure this is highlighted, you see? It's highlighted and release. And then it will move the origin point from the middle of the cube to the cursor. Now let's go back to front view and make sure you're in orthographic view, okay? So not perspective, orthographic. And now watch. If I scale this cube, now we can scale it on this left hand side, which is exactly what I want. Now let's GZ, so move it down a little bit so we can be more precise. And now S. And I'm going to be scaling it. I want to scale it exactly to this position where my handle starts, okay? So we can move it lower to actually see if it's correct. And now what I'm going to do is go to modifiers, click on this tab and press array. And I'm going to increase this radius here to 0.01, okay? So it's going to give me a tiny gap in here. And increase the number of items to 3. And now we're going to scale it just a little bit with shift. So S, shift and scale it. So it ends here. Now, you can clearly see that there is a 1/3 of a distance between the beginning of the stock and the beginning of the handle, the grip, and from the grip to the beginning of the barrel. And this one doesn't matter because we can make it as long as we want. These proportions are really important, so we want to, kind of make sure that we follow these proportions when we're going to block out the gun. Now to block out the gun, which is going to be next thing we're going to be doing, you simply press Shift A and click on plane. Now the plane is, it's rotated, right? So what we need to do is we need to align this plane with this face of this orientation of this image. So we could rotate it on an axis, but we're gonna do something fancy. So let's go here and click on a face and then align rotation to target. Now with this face selected, when you press G to move it and hold Control, you can snap it to to these faces, and this will align it perfectly with this plane. So we can move it freely here. You don't have to be super precise. Scale it with S and move it somewhere here, okay? So it covers this stock more or less. And we're gonna go closer, go to edge mode and GX and extrude it to this spot. So we're gonna block out this this stock first, okay? So first of all, let's press Alt Z to access the X-ray mode. You can also access it in here. And we're gonna put input a loop tool, one loop tool, so we can sort of model this part a little bit better. So let's go to edge mode and then Control R, put a loop tool, and we can actually GG move it in here, right? And you can put another loop tool in here and delete this face. So X and delete face, right? So let's see, Alt Z, and let's go to edge mode and GG, this vert, and GG. Actually, we're gonna use mirror tools for this. Let me show you. So what we want to do now, right? Alt Z. We wanna make sure that the stock end is sort of it's not straight but kind of slanted, but also curves inwards. So Alt Z. To be able to achieve that, we cannot just move this in here. We would need to, we would need to bevel it, but then again, we would need to move this point as well. So what we could do is use mirror tools to move all these three at once. So select all the verts, holding shift, go to N top, so press N, find the mirror tools. Now go to C stretch, so curve stretch, right? And then click on it. And with your mouse, you can change the number of verts in a curve to 2 and left click, right? And now you see we got this line that actually allows us to manipulate this whole bunch of verts. And you need to have at least 3 verts for it to be working. And we're gonna put it somewhere, somewhere here, and right click to confirm. Now, I'm gonna move this inwards, so GG, and move it inwards, and we can actually bevel it. So Control Shift Control B, and bevel it like this, and we can add some iterations to it. So that's more or less our stock. Okay, we don't have to be precise; it's just a blocking face. So now we want to block this one as well. So press E and extrude it on x-axis. So press E and X to constrain it. And here, then here, and EZ to move it, to extrude it upwards. So EZ and up, right? And now we need to create this bottom part. So let's think about it from this perspective. Control R to insert a loop, and one loop's gonna go in here. Next loop is gonna go in here. Next one's gonna go in here, and one here, and one here. So go to edge mode again. So press on tab and go to edge mode. Again, I'm gonna be doing this quickly, guys. So if you will see me switching between verts, edges, faces, or object, I'm always using this tab. Okay, I'm just doing it quickly like this. So go to edge mode and EZ and go down, and then SX to scale it on x-axis, right? So it has this trapezoidal shape. Grab this edge and EZ and go down, and go to vert mode and then GG and move it up, okay? And then if you go to object mode and Alt Z, you'll see that we need this cut in here, right? So we could just grab in edge mode, we could grab the loop tool with Control R and drop it in here, and one more loop tool in here, and simply delete this face, okay? And here we could simply go to edge mode and move, actually let's move this one here. So invert mode, GG to move it in here. Select both of this, or in fact what we could do is click here, and since we have machine tools installed, we can press 4 twice to input 2 faces, and GG and move it somewhere here. And then let's move this whole edge up, so G, Z and move it up, okay, somewhere here. Go to vert mode and GX and move it in here. And now we can grab this one and extrude it down, and simply G and move it in here. Go to vert mode, G, move this vert here, and this one. Let's input an edge here, so Control R, input an edge, go to vert mode, GX, and move it in here. Now if we wanted to, we could add the trigger here, so add another edge, Control R. Now we're gonna straighten it because it's crooked, you see, it doesn't go straight. So S, Z, and 0. This will level this to a Z-axis. So when I go back, you see it's sort of tilted, right? It's angled. Now to level it on the Z-axis, which means it's going to be perpendicular to the Z-axis, you type S, Z and the 0. It will flatten it. So now we're going to do the same thing with this one. So SZ0, and we're going to select both of them, Control B, and we're going to split them, and roll your mouse to have only two edges. Let's click on this edge, right click and bridge. And for some weird reason it doesn't work. Let's try these two. Something is not right with that mesh over there. See, now this one is working fine. This one isn't for some reason. Let's clean the mesh. So just press 3 and Machine Tools will clean the mesh. We could actually even run the non-manifold mesh cleanup through our 3D print toolbox. So go here and make manifold, and let's see if that's gonna help. Maybe there's some kind of a double edge. Right click and loop tools and bridge, and it doesn't work. Well, in this case what we're gonna do is we're simply gonna do it manually. So select all these and press F, and now what I'm gonna do is Control R, insert a loop here, GZ to bring it down, and now once we have this edge in the middle, what I'm gonna do is press Control B and bevel it like this. Okay, so that's our trigger, right? Let's go back to front view, and we're done. And now the front of the gun, which is not really that difficult, we can simply introduce another loop here. So Control R and simply extrude it on x-axis. Control R, and now select these two edges, so the top, shift, and bottom, and ESZ. So you're gonna scale it and extrude it on the same time on the axis. Okay, that's very basic modeling, and of course we need a scope. So I'm gonna add another plane, G, Control to snap it, SZ to scale it like this, move it down with G key, scale it a little bit more, and just leave it there, it's fine. So now we don't need this image, we can delete it. So click on the image, X, delete. And this is going to be not the base for our gun, but I created this block out simply to maintain the proportions between the size of the stock, size of the handle, the distance between the stock handle and the barrel, because that's really important. Once you get the proportions correctly, you can create a believable weapon that we subconsciously feel that we could use. So you add this this value to your concept art, because it is a concept art. It could be very sci-fi, but still looks like it could be used by humans. So that's essential for creating, for example, successful game assets or items for your portfolio, where the model looks cool, but at the same time it's actually functional or could be functional, and we can feel it subconsciously by simply recognizing these proportions. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. In the next part, we're gonna start blocking out our concept gun based on these proportions. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.